Hey, just before we get started on this episode, want to let you know that it does include a mention of a parent passing away from cancer. And whilst it's not the overarching emphasis of the story, whilst overall this is a very positive episode, I know from my own experience that sometimes you don't need to hear this stuff. And if that's you right now, I hope you're okay. Come back some other time and listen to it then, because it is well worth a listen. Hey, how you doing? I'm Steve Folland. Welcome to another one. This episode of Being Freelance is supported by Freelancer magazine. Yes, get those sweet glossy pages in your hand. There's so many great back issues of Freelance magazine, but actually there's a brand new one out this week as this new episode goes out, and there's so much good stuff in it. Systems and processes and getting them in order for your business, planning sheets to work through as you enter another quarter. There's also a great mental health article to deal with being ghosted, stuff from working on finding your niche to working through the perimenopause, so much. And it's not just a magazine, there's a whole community online and co-working sessions and much more besides. Go to freelancermagazine.co.uk. Right now, let's find out what it's like being freelance for content strategist Jess Bruno.
They were all coming out of the woodwork and I was getting loads of texts being like, Jess, what should I write in the Instagram caption? Jess, da, da, da. And one day my mum said to me, I bet you could charge for that. And I said, what? You're having a laugh, mate. I get a thrill and I get a bit of dopamine out of this business because it's been there for me in my darkest times as well. I love going to networking events where there is a keynote, but I was like, there's so many I don't need to add into that industry. And then I came up with this word, networking. Life changes, and I say you will regret this if you're not present in that moment, because I regretted it, and content can always bloody wait.
Yes, we're off to London this week to chat to Jess, who is a freelance content strategist and coach. I saw her speak at Creator Day. Do you remember I was telling you how I was going to be speaking at this event down in Poole on the south coast back in May? I had a great time. I was on in the morning. Then after lunch, Jess came out. She had everybody up dancing to Beyonce. Her talk was so refreshing and honest. She absolutely held the whole room in the palm of her hands, and I was really struck by her. And ever since, I've been following her online, bumped into her again at some other events, and can't wait for you to hear her story. So that's coming up in a moment. It's been a good week in the Being Freelance community. We celebrated our halfway high fives. This was where we got together to cheer everybody on as we hit the halfway point in 2025. Remarkably, I realise you could be listening to this years into the future, but this is where we are right now. It's one of those great things, you see. When you work by yourself, I always found the only people I got to high five were a cat and a yucca plant. It's a bit different now because I've got a cockapoo who's on the bed next to me. Hey, Milo, high five. High five. Yeah, good boy. You can watch these episodes on YouTube and also on Spotify, you'll see. Anyway, in the community, we are always there to cheer you on, to support you. And all you've got to do is come find us. Go to beingfreelance.com and click on community. I'll see you in there. Shall we crack on, though? Get chatting to this week's guest. That is freelance content strategist and coach, Jess Bruno. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Steve.
Thanks so much for doing this. As ever, how about we get started hearing how you got started being freelance?
Sure. So my business started in 2020. I'm one of the business COVID babies, but I was working from 2019 and before in marketing. So I did in-house marketing for events agency, a big, really fun event company that did all these fun, boozy brunches. I worked with Picture House Cinemas and all these different cool people doing marketing. And then in 2019, my health started to decline a bit. I was been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis for a really long time, since I was 22. But 2019 it kind of hit a bit of a brick wall, and I found it really difficult to work in a corporate environment. And then the pandemic happened. And so I was like, well, okay. And so I handed in my notice to my work, and I had to move home and live with my mum and my grandma in a teeny tiny box room. I hadn't been living at home. I moved out when I was 17, so it was like a big culture shock for me. Because of the nature of my work, marketing, and the nature of the world, my friends who knew what I did were all starting businesses. They were creatives who also ran out of work. A lot of my friends are in like musicians and dancers, and they suddenly had no work at all, and so they'd start a side business like a postbox brownie business or like a resin ashtray business or coat. They were all coming out the woodwork, and I was getting loads of texts being like, Jess, what should I write in the Instagram caption? Jess, da, da, da. And one day my mum said to me, I bet you could charge for that. And I said, what? You're having a laugh, mate. No way. I had no idea you could do marketing freelance. It blew my, I couldn't fathom the freelance world. And she said, yeah, next time someone messages you asking for advice, tell them it's going to be £25, please. I said, all right. And within about an hour, I kid you not, someone messaged me for help. And I said, yeah, that's fine. We can jump on a call for £25. And then they said, yeah, that sounds great. When do you want to have a chat? And that's how it started. And I had no idea how to do an invoice. I was like, Mum, how do I get the money? She was like, I don't know. But I kind of worked it all out from there.
I love it. But but having had that sort of penny drop or the 25 quid drop, how did you grow it from there? How did you sort of turn it into something where people kept paying you to do it?
They did. So since then, since 2020, my £25 year, to 2024, I hit my first 6-figure year in business. So it's quite a leap from £25 to 100k. And how did I do it? Lots of things, Steve. To be honest, the penny dropped, the £25 penny dropped, and I was like, okay, maybe I could market myself as I marketed the events companies that I used to work for, and maybe I can put all of that knowledge into me. And for some reason, I'd never even thought about that before. So I started doing that. I started posting blanket Instagram and blanket content advice on my own personal Instagram, which was only previously used for, I'll be honest, boys on Tinder. It was like my Tinder extension page and maybe some friends from like primary school. It was not a business page at all. I didn't think to start a new one. I just said, I'll just do this. In hindsight, I wish I did start a new one, because when I was posting my 5 ways to get more engagement, the boys from Tinder were just like hemorrhaging out of my followers.
Hey, who needs them?
Who needs them? But initially I was like, why am I losing? I'm losing followers every day. I don't understand. I'm just being helpful. I was like, oh my God, it's Tom. And it's like Gary. That's fine. They can go. And I started marketing myself organically, sharing this blanket advice. And then the next step to that was I need to pitch myself to work with people. And where are these people that I want to work with? Who do I like? And I sent a DM to a community called Found and Flourish. It's run by Lara Sheldrake. She founds a community for female founders. And I just really pitched my shot. I was like, hi, I see you do events. I've got loads of experience in marketing events. If you ever need any help, I'd love to get on board. And this was right in the beginning. So I started doing a little bit of freelancing for her every month. It was not a lot of money, but I pitched myself, and I think she might have felt a bit like, not sorry for me, but like, oh, this is sweet. Yeah, she can jump in and have a go at it. That's how it started. That's how I started growing it. And then I got a little bit more revenue in the business, started freelancing with other one-to-one clients from organically promoting myself. And I then invested in business coaching. I've invested very heavily in learning how to run an online business. And then I expanded my offer suite, low ticket item, mid ticket item, and high ticket, and revolving around those 3 things.
And that was as a consultant, as in you weren't doing the thing for them?
initially I was doing all the things. I was social media manager. I was just kind of figuring out what I liked. I started saying, yes, I can do that, so I will. I did content creation, social media management, consulting, all mushed into one until I realized I shine best in coaching and strategy. So now what it looks like, and that's why I kind of developed this 3 different offer suites. So you can have templates in my membership where I have all of these like strategic templates that you can implement yourself, DIY. I've got a group program where we co-create your strategy for you. I consult every week on your business and your content, and then you can come to me and I like do live feedback on your stuff. And then one-to-one, which is a little bit more hands-on. I can edit anything you've created. I can recommend stuff. But yeah, I moved away from social media management quite early on.
So that's where you are today. What was it like as you started to find your way there?
Horrific. For the first 2 years of my business, as I told you earlier, in 2019, I got sick and I wasn't thriving. I was really, really sick for the first 2 years of my business. And so I couldn't do anything apart from like type on the laptop and then sleep. I was like stuck in my house, figuring everything out. My brain worked, but my body didn't. I had no energy. I had nothing. I had nothing to give apart from I really, really enjoyed posting on Instagram and talking about content. And so for the the first beginning, I think I said yes to all the things because I didn't know. I just thought I'm just going to take whatever comes my way. It was in 2022 where I had a surgery to remove my large bowel. And after that surgery and after I healed, I gained a lot of strength and energy back. And that's when I could start moving a bit more. I had the brain capacity to not do everything in fight or flight. I could start moving more strategically and think about my offer suite and everything a bit more.
When you had that surgery, like, were you able to work then, or did you have to? Right.
No, in 2022, I had 2 unexpected long breaks from the business where I had to unplug, and both times I lost majority of my clients and lost pretty much all of my money. In February 2022, my mum died on my 30th birthday. And then I had 4 weeks off of business and then kind of like 2 months of just being so cloudy. And then October 2022, when I had the surgery, it was an 8-week recovery. And then I didn't actually start really being back in business until probably January, late January. Yeah.
That is a lot.
I know.
And I mean, some people would think, do I have the energy to rebuild this? Now I'm feeling better. Could I just go and get a job? Had the running your own thing bitten?
I just don't think I could ever go back into corporate marketing. If I was to get a job, I think my brain says I'll just have a lovely job in Tesco's or a lovely job in like a corner shop down the street for me, because I don't think I would want to work in a marketing 9-to-5 environment again, because of my body and because of even though I've had so much surgery, there's still loads of things that come with that. Like I get dehydrated really easily. I get headaches all the time. I have to empty this bag and it bursts. Like there's too many variables of me being out the house anyway. So when these breaks came along, it didn't really cross my mind that I wanted to go back into a 9-to-5. I just got back on the business wagon because I got such a taste for it, and I get a thrill and I get a bit of dopamine out of this business because it's been there for me in my darkest times as well.
Yeah.
Is that a toxic relationship with the business? Yeah, probably. A little bit. But it's something that I'm really, really working on this year, is looking at the relationship I've got in my business differently and seeing, cause after 2023, I fucking went for it, mate. Like, I really, really went for it. I've really just focused. 2023, 2024 and 2025 has been all about this business, and it's wonderful and it's working out. But I'm slowly realizing what I've built is not sustainable for myself. I can't do this on my own anymore. I don't really want to run an agency. So I'm in the, my business is gonna go through another kind of amalgamation very soon.
You said, is it a toxic relationship? In what way do you feel that, though? Because it sounds pretty good.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful, but it takes the majority of my time, which is fine. But I'm working very, very hard, and I'm so tired, and I feel like I'm prioritizing this business over the majority of things in my life, where the beginning of the business, I prioritized it because it was the only thing I could do. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't really see anyone. I found it difficult to do anything remotely human. But now I've got more of a human body back. I can start going out more. I can start doing these, I don't know, like going on holidays. Like, that wasn't an option for me before. It's an option for me now. And that's what I want to give my life more space to do. But the business that I've built, unless I was to bring on a whole team, I haven't got capacity to do any kind of pleasure projects.
I get it. Yeah. You've worked bloody hard and created this amazing thing, but the work-life balance...
Oh, there's none.
Isn't there?
It's very much leaning towards work. I'd say like 90% work, 10% balance. But because I have my body back, I want to flip that scale. I don't ever want to like... There's seasons, like people are very much like anti-hustle culture. And I don't think what I've done is hustle per se. I've just... I don't want to bitch on hustle culture because a lot of people do, and what it sounds like I have done. I'm horrible to myself about it a lot. I'm like, oh, you work too hard. You need to go out. You need to go on more holidays. And often people say to me, oh, Jess, you work so hard. You deserve to go out. And I do deserve to go out, but I've worked really hard and I'm really proud of what I built. And I am switching. I am slowly switching it. And I don't just want to pull the rug out of all my clients, all the responsibilities that I've signed up for. So, Steve, I've got this like plan. The responsibilities that I have signed up for, everything's kind of quieting down end of September. And then I'm going to pause and be building in the background. October, November, December, January, February is when I'm going to be building this new business model and then rolling it out from March. So I'm not just going to like cancel the membership and stop the group program and close my one-to-ones. I've seen a lot of content when people like burn down their businesses because they're burnt out. But what I'm going to do is this, hopefully, this nice slow transition behind the scenes. So that's the goal anyway.
And has that come through working it through with a coach, with other people?
I've had consistent business coaching since my business started. It was on Clubhouse where I found my coach, and I really, really got on with her. Her name is May James. She's incredible. I resonated with her because she also lives with chronic illness. Yeah, it's through her and through like putting myself in communities. I look after a lot of people. It's difficult for me to... I've not really ever found a space online which felt like my community, like a group where I could just be present, be honest about my business, because I position myself as such a leader, and a lot of these spaces online also have my clients in there as well. So I'm scared to be like, oh, I'm business changing. Like, it's difficult for me to find safe spaces to be honest about business. But I found a few of them, and it's in those spaces and with my business coach, I get to work all of this stuff out.
When you were in hospital,
yeah,
and you said, you lost all your clients.
Yeah.
Were you though like saying, hey, I can't do this anymore, I'll be back at some point, but they just had to go and find other people?
It's two things we can talk about here, because I think the second one, when I was in hospital, I got my head around that so much easier than when my mum died. So when I was in hospital and I had just started the membership, I think a few months before, and I already had someone supporting me there. So I gave some more responsibility to this person that was helping with the membership. Some members left, Some stayed, but that was okay. My one-to-one clients either paused indefinitely, so all their payments paused, or they had the option to cancel. Most just cancelled because I didn't know when I was going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just living in overdraft, but it wasn't really anything. It didn't feel like a big deal, and I was so high off of all the morphine. When I was in hospital, I was like, everything's going to be fine. Prior to that, I was so poorly, so sick. At that point, it was okay if I died, because I was like, I can't be in this much pain anymore. Maybe it's just my time to go. I was really like, I was fine. And so when I came out on the other side and I survived the surgery, I was like, everything's great. And I was living in La La Land for a long time. But when my mum died, completely different story. I had 2 retainer clients, and I had 2 retainer clients at that point. I lost them both. My mum was really sick. She was sick for a long time. She had cancer. And then for the January, February, it was all going downhill. I had decided to push through, and I told my retainer clients, I just can't do anything like on Zoom, like client facing, but I can still like help in the background and do admin, and I can still like hand over content and stuff like that, and but I couldn't. And that's probably one of the biggest regrets of my life, like sitting in the hospice whilst my mum was in her last time with us, and I'm just sat there making content calendars. But I think when you're grieving and when you're going through that process, nothing makes sense. And one of the clients that I was working with, she just said, look, Jess, I really appreciate everything you're doing. It's just time for us to stop working together. And I think there was a lot to do. And I was on a Zoom call with her in a cab on the way back from the hospital. And then I, very quickly afterwards, rage quit the second retainer client I was working with. She had this agency that I would help her clients with, and she had to sort out that fire, but I completely rage quit and then ghosted her. And we've spoken about it since. And it also really ruined my relationship with her, because every time I see her, I pull that to the time with my mum. And I'm biggest regret. But I get to tell this story, and I've worked with people since and coached clients since who go through these big life changes, and I say, you will regret this if you're not present in that moment, because I regretted it, and content can always bloody wait. So yeah, 2 very different versions of how I lost them all.
Thank you for sharing, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially so soon after. But you did build it back up. And also, I love that your mum helped you see your potential as well at the start of this story.
Yeah.
And she got to see that it was working. So you do rebuild, though.
Yes.
Was that just by going back to the trusted sort of marketing that you were doing, putting yourself out there? Did you do anything differently?
Yeah. I can't. Anything that I've got is motivation. I came back and I was like all bells and whistles. I had my branding redone. I started posting like 3 times a day. I was putting myself out there. I launched my group program. So I'm on the 5th round of it now. It's called Watch Us Grow. And I onboarded people into that. And I just started like all guns blazing. I call it fuck it posting. There's power in imperfect visibility and volume. It's the only way I've built my business.
And so what would this have been? Like stories or reels that were helpful still? Or did you change anything?
Least path of resistance. So I've got this depth of marketing experience. So I make my content calendar. I set my pillars. I set my goals. So like, right, looking at a bank account, looking at what I need in the business, I'm going to launch this group program. I set a good, better, best goal. So good, I want to onboard 5 people. Better, 8. Best, 10. And I would post content, launch style content around this new program, why it's great, who it's for, on the grid. And then I would celebrate the people that join the program in the stories. people are sheeple. If they see that someone's joined, it will give them a bit of courage to join as well. And I also love a DM. Now, I never cold pitch anyone. It's always permission based. I will, before I'm launching something new, or I haven't done this a while because I haven't launched anything new in a while, but something that really helped me before is writing a list of people in my community who I often see, about 10 of them, as like, I think this program would be really good for them. And so they're already in my sphere. We already talk a little bit. I'm going to send them DM and say a week before the doors open, just to let you know, this is happening. I'd love for you to have a look at the sales page before I send it out to anyone. I think this would be really good for you because that's really been beneficial as well.
And so the content is helpful. This fuck it posting,
yes,
is helpful. Is it personable? Like,
it changes every year, but depending on what's working well. Before, I'd say 2023, 2024, it was here's how you can. This is 3 ways that you can do this. Now, end of 24, 2025, what I've noticed for myself and my one-to-one clients is here's how talking people through how you in your business, especially if you have a business that there's crossover, so anything kind of service-based or like coach-based. Here's how I landed 3 clients last week and walking them through the process of that. That's working bloody well. And so for me, doing content, here's how my whole thing is growing a business on low engagement and getting sales in low engagement. So here's how I built a 6-figure business on an average of 30 likes a post. I'm walking people through my method. Or here's how and if you don't have a business that is related to your target audience, you share the social proof and testimonials. Here's how I got these results for this client, and be very specific in that. Just switching the you to an I found is really helping with a quicker conversion. And that is across the board. It doesn't matter where you do it. Reels, carousel, story, text post.
Interesting.
Yeah, might change.
Obviously, you wanted to build a business. You had to build a business that you could run from home.
Yes.
Has that changed? Do you get to go out to events? Do you go to a co-work space? Like, has any of that changed?
Yes. I always kind of tango with co-working spaces because on paper they sound so great. It means I can get out of my house. But even still, my body, instead of being like a member of a co-working space, I'll do a day pass if I need to get out of the house because my body is still a bit unreliable day to day. But I will love a day pass. I now go to networking events and I love them, and I run my own networking events as well, but I try and limit it to like 2 per month maximum because I get wiped out quite quickly, and they're so fun and I love it. But I did all of it online previously.
Yeah, tell me about your networking event.
My networking event is basically, as I told you, I worked in the events industry prior to this, and I specifically worked in brunch parties. And last summer, I really missed going out, and I hadn't had a urge to go out and have like party in a really long time. And I put up an Instagram story, just word vomiting that, oh God, does anyone else miss going out? Like, I don't want to go clubbing. I don't drink alcohol, and I don't really want to go to like a brunch party like that, but I'm looking for something fun. And I got inundated with messages being like, yeah, same, blah, blah, blah. And then I came up with this word, networking.
I love it.
I love it. And I started in August last year. I hosted my first networking event, which was, it basically feels like the good bit at the end of a wedding, you know, when the DJ comes on and everyone's just like laughing and dancing with like the people you don't, from table number 4, you're on table 12, you're together on the dance floor. It feels like that. And I love going to networking events where there is a keynote and there is this kind of learning experience added onto it. But I was like, there's so many amazing ones of those. I don't need to add into that industry. But I do think there is a gap in the party industry for business owners. And so I've just made a day rate for business owners. You come in, you get a name tag, the DJ's playing from the beginning, there's a twerk lesson halfway through, and it's fun. It's just fun. Tax deductible fun.
And has that had an impact on your business?
Yeah.
I mean, I would just love the fact that it's made an impact on people having a great time.
Yeah.
As well, but on your business?
People have a great time and they talk about it. And at Atomicon, people were coming up to me, that's the twerk girl.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm not the twerk girl. I'm not. There's a girl that comes tomorrow. She's incredible. She runs that session. I'm host. But has it made it? It's cost me money. Not made a penny on it. I make a loss on every event. On the spreadsheets of networking, we're in the red. But for my one-to-one group program and membership, there's been a knock-on effect there. If someone's been to networking, they're more likely to work with me in that kind of more in a content capacity. The way I've weaved it together in my business is my spiel is I help small business owners show up unapologetically online with content and offline at day raves. And so there has been this kind of long tail effect, but on paper, on the networking spreadsheets, we're in the red. I don't see me going on Dragon's Den and being like networking. They were like, no.
No, but I'd like to see Deborah Meaden and the rest of them get up.
They need it,
give
man.
It a go.
They bloody need it.
Yeah, that miserable one on the end really needs to get up and do it.
Honestly.
But that said, you could look at it at the other end and say a lot of forms of marketing, if you were to place an advert somewhere, that would be in the red, but it serves a purpose.
Yes.
One thing I did mean to ask you, because you mentioned getting your branding done, all of that, and I love it. Your website looks amazing.
Thanks.
Did that make a difference to yourself, to your business, when you had it done, with the photos, the logos, all of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it did. It does. They say it does, and you think, no, it doesn't. It does. I think it's not the be-all and end-all to have a business. I'm very much about like messy action. But when you can invest in headshots and you can invest in branding, it's only going to elevate. And as I've grown the business and had more capital to do it, it has had a knock-on effect. It has. I've changed over the years. If you scroll back right down to my Instagram, you'll be like, this girl's been through so many things. But I feel really comfortable in it, and it does really feel like a reflection of me right now. I think the issue a lot of people have is that they'll brand too quickly. Well, and it's a version of them that isn't going to be around for very long because they don't have the words to hand over to the person doing their branding and to the person doing their website to tell them how they want to show up. If I invested in this in the beginning, I would have had like a Barbie marble pink perfect gold writing website, and that's so not me, and I would have tried to like keep up with that, and that would have been exhausting. But having a photo shoot with my stoma out and using that as marketing content has been wonderful.
Back with Jess's story in a moment. Just want to let you know that if you're in your early days or years of being freelance, just like Jess was, you don't have to figure it all out yourself. Through both my own experience and the years of speaking to people for this podcast, over 300 guests, I've gathered together all of the stuff we've talked about and put it together for you in a course. So if you know somebody who is new to freelancing, even if they're in their first year or two, please do check it out. Go to beingfreelance.com, click on course. It's really easy to digest video lessons that cover everything from getting into the business mindset when you're getting set up, getting paid, getting clients, dealing with work-life balance so that you don't burn out, all of the different contractual things which can be pretty confusing when you get started. It's all in there. It's the course I wish I had when I got started. You could have it when you got started. So if you know someone who could benefit from that, please do point them in the direction of beingfreelance.com and click on course. It also gets you 6 months free membership of the Being Freelance community, so well worth taking a look. Right now, shall we get back to Jess's story? I think we should. So I saw you speak at an event. So is that something you've done a lot of?
No,
or...
Steve, that was my first one.
Get out of town.
That was my first one. I've done a lot of online.
Mm-hmm.
I've done online and I've done training, but I've never done a talk like that.
Well, it was bloody brilliant. It was so good. You just look so natural, like you own the stage. So you weren't nervous or anything like that?
I was a bit nervous, but I try not to take these things. I take them very seriously. Like I put all the work in. But on the day, I think because I've been through so much shit, Steve, I'm like, if I could go through all that, I could do this.
Is that something you think you'll do more of? Did you get a taste for it then?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I want to do more of it. But I do not have... It's part of the reason why I'm changing my business model. Right now, absolutely no capacity to do stuff like that. But I'm like, that makes an impact. I could get paid to do it. And I felt like I was pretty good at it. And I really enjoyed it. So that's why I'm going to change my business model to give myself more space in the business so I can start pitching myself to do more. Because I could start pitching myself and do more now. But I'm like, not with the responsibilities I've signed on for.
Yeah, that's fair. And especially because, well, I find anyway, doing a talk, even if it's a talk that you can redo again and again and again, because I always idiotically seem to do a different talk every time. Even if you do that, it still takes a lot out of you in the lead up to it, the thing itself, afterwards, like energy-wise, even more so, I'm imagining, in the situation with yourself that you've described.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get to go back to our Winnebagos and then get our private jet home, unfortunately.
No. Even still, I think I'd just be knackered on the Winnebago. I was so tired.
Yeah.
So tired. You have to really carve out a lot of time for it.
But one thing in your talk, because you mentioned your stoma and your operation, your bag.
Yeah.
But in your talk, you mentioned the fact that there was a point where you didn't used to talk about it.
No.
Online or...
No.
But that changed.
Yeah. So, first year of my business, 2020, I made that £25, but I didn't make any money after that. And I was posting a lot of like this advice content that I was looking at other business owners and other people do and thinking I should do that because it's worked for them. And it was all very like safe and pink, and not that I'm not pink now, but it was very... Like I used like marble, and I used things that I thought looked how it should. It wasn't me at all. And my health was the reason I started this business, and I felt it was getting too difficult not to talk about it. And I felt like such a fraud posting these like perfect graphics and blurred, like brushed up. I was spending hours like blurring the bags out of my eyes, and I was just like, oh. And I was like losing all of my hair, and I've had extra hair on these pictures, and I was just like, this is so hard. I don't want to keep hiding myself. And so I put this poll up on my Instagram, and I said, would you still take me seriously as a marketer if I started talking a bit more about my health journey? Because I've been going through a bit of a journey. It's part of my like why I'm doing this. And I expected everyone to be like, yeah, you go, girl. Say what you need to say. And I think like 57% of people said, no, we wouldn't take you seriously. Now, I did tell people to be honest. And so they were honest with me. And I got paragraphs from people telling me why they wouldn't take me seriously, and be like, Jess, I'll be honest, I wouldn't work with you because I wouldn't trust you to be able to execute the work. And at this point, I was positioning myself as social media management a bit. But I decided that it was just too exhausting to keep pretending to be something I wasn't, and like hiding my story. And since I started sharing, I actually just posted I did a post about it today, actually. I don't talk about it every day. I'm not trying to be the content coach for women with stomas. Like, I'm not, that's not been who I've been attracting, but it's a huge part of my why. And ever since I did start talking about my health journey, it's only helped me relate and resonate more. And I get messages like today I posted something very vulnerable, not very vulnerable, but just tiny slither of my story. And it's always I'm not doing it for my ego, but I'm doing it to show people like you can do this, even though you've got shit, and your shit might look different than my shit, but you can do anything. It might take longer. Because oh God, I'm going on a tangent here, but I always fall into the trap of looking at people who started at the same time as me and being like, God, they've got so many followers. God, they're making so much money. Oh God, look what they've done. Oh, their website looks amazing. And my partner's always like, yeah, but they probably haven't gone through the same shit you have, and they probably haven't done this, and that you don't know what their life looks like. And so, yeah.
Wise words. Because it's so true. And I don't know, I wonder whether we all partly do the same. Why do we do it to ourselves as well? Like, I do it. I look at other people who have been producing podcasts or content and stuff like that.
You're like the top dog.
Now, Jess, I always do this thing where I ask for 3 facts about yourself to make 2 true, 1 a lie, and let me figure out the lie. What do you have for me?
Right, here we go. This morning, as I was typing on my computer, I looked out the corner of my eye and I saw a squirrel in my flat. Number 1. An actual squirrel in my flat.
Yeah.
Just by my shoes. And I often think I see something fluffy out the corner of my eye. I don't have any pets. And I'll be like, oh, it's just my shoe. And I look back and I was like, no, it's a squirrel. That was weird. Number 1. Number 2, I have professionally studied singing since I was 4 years old.
Right.
And number 3, I'm a grade 8 in flute.
So the squirrel, a grey squirrel, was just hanging out in your house?
Yeah.
How did it get... Well, because it's summer and...
Because all the windows are open.
I was going to say, we are recording this on a very hot day.
It's really hot. I live in a masonette, so I'm the top floor. So I don't know how it got in, but the windows are open. It must have been like a giant leap.
Giant leap from a tree?
From a tree or something.
Maybe it abseiled down from the roof.
What?
She's got nuts. She's got peanuts. Drop, go, go, go.
I didn't know what to do. My partner's away, so I called his brother. I was like, what do I do? And so he made me scout out all the rooms, and every time I did a room, close the door to make sure the squirrel wasn't there. But
Make sure there weren't any more. Yeah.
I was like, do I close the windows? He's like, no, because how's it going to get out? And so I was on the phone, and then I heard it scurry out the window again, and something had, I had these cleaning stuff on the windowsill, and that had all fallen off. And then I found where he came in through the bathroom window. There was these little squirrel paw prints. So I found it.
Okay, this has to be true, surely. Secondly, you've trained to be a singer since the age of 4.
Yeah, my first dream was to be a Spice Girl. At 4 years old, I was put into Saturday school where I did singing, dancing and acting. Through primary school, I did it every Saturday. I had to do my singing. I went to musical theatre secondary school, and I went to music college, did pop vocals. And then in university, I did pop vocals in Brighton, and I've got a 2-1 in singing.
I didn't even know that was a thing, but of course it is. Now, is it true? Okay. Well, I mean, this is amazing. So you did all that, but you still had time to learn flute.
Yeah. So I'm a grade 8 in flute.
Which exam board is that?
MCAS.
MCAS?
MCAS in flute. It's a silver flute. It lives, I haven't touched it in years. It's above my wardrobe right now. It's covered in dust. But yeah, I love the flute. Lizzo plays the flute as well.
Yes. How long did it take you to get to grade 8?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years. Yeah, quick. A toot sweet flute player.
Toot sweet. Okay. Well, that might be possible. I've not heard of MCAS.
MCAS.
Is that like Mother Cass from the Mamas and the Papas?
No,
is MCAS
it's
a thing?
Musical cohort.
Make some more letters up.
As
is this true?
Stars.
Okay. I mean, maybe MCAS does exist.
Yeah, the musical cohort of stars.
Okay, I'm saying the squirrel is definitely true. There's absolutely no reason why you couldn't be a singer, unless, of course, this is a brilliant lie, and you just can't sing for toffee. And I don't believe the flute.
What?
Why don't I believe the flute? It's a silver flute.
It's a silver flute. It's size 6 silver flute.
You see, calling it a silver flute, I mean, maybe that just seemed...
Sterling silver.
No, come on. Enough. That is the lie.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Yes!
Like, can you believe there was a squirrel in my flat this morning?
Yes, I can. That's why I didn't pick it. That's amazing.
I know.
You were like, okay, well, that's filled that hole in our chat this afternoon. What are you going to do? Are you going to find a way to stop it coming back, or are you going to...
I don't know. It was quite lovely, to be honest. It was quite a nice problem to have.
Yes.
I might try, and if I can call her back, I will.
I mean, in the world of wild animals, I do like a squirrel.
It's true.
You know?
Squirrels, glad it wasn't like a rat.
Rat would be awful. A seagull. Do you know? Like a pigeon.
Could you imagine?
But a squirrel...
It was cute. It was cute. But, but because I will often see things out the corner of my eye and go like, is that a cat? And it's never a cat or animal. And today I looked, I was like, it's happened.
I do the same thing. I'm like, is that a cat? And bearing in mind, we have a cat.
Fine.
But it will be a rucksack.
Yeah, rucksack,
like it won't
shoe.
be...
Yeah.
It's never actually the cat.
Today was different.
Now, Jess, if you could tell your younger self one thing about being freelance, what would that be?
Get an accountant. From the beginning, because you're going to be fucked.
Blunt advice to your younger self.
That's it. Genuinely, I don't want to give her any content advice or heavy business advice, but you're going to do great, but you'll be fucked if you don't get an accountant. Get a fucking accountant.
At what point did you?
2023, I invested in an accountant, and best money I spend every month. She's not the cheapest, but she is incredible. And I'm dyslexic, like level 10 dyslexic. And so that stuff, the admin of the money, takes everything out of me. So she came on board in 2023 and it's been beautiful.
Marvellous. Jess, it's been so good to talk to you. Make sure you go to beingfreelance.com. As there are for all of our guests, you will find links so that you can find Jess online, which you really must. Go give her a follow. Go see what she's up to, both now and who knows what it will be like in the future as well. And if you ever get a chance to see her on stage when she gets around to being back on one, make sure you go along. And if you're in the London area and you fancy some networking, then get yourself along. But for now, thanks so much and all the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's it for another one. Make sure you check out Jess's socials for videos of her most recent networking event. I think it's the 4th one she did. It happened on a really hot day in London and it looked so much fun. Beingfreelance.com, as there are for all of our guests. You can find links through to find Jess online. And of course, there are so many episodes of this podcast. It's all about the being freelance. It doesn't matter what they do for a job title, so please do go back and search through and have a listen to many others. And it would be great to see you in the community. Come join us. That's where I'll be hanging out most, but you'll also find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. It's always nice to connect with you there. Come find me. I'll see you for another one of these very soon indeed, but you have a great week. Being freelance.